Hello, everyone. This is Miss G, 50 Shades of Glow. Welcome, welcome, welcome to Let's Talk About Africa. Hope all is well today. We are going to talk about, let me get on Facebook. Hold on. Thought I was on Facebook, child. Thought I was on Facebook. I'd be trying to do a whole lot. Okay. All right, here we go. Yes. Ooh, how is everyone today? Let me throw this on. I've been running today. I went to hello. Um, yeah, I went to a small business expo. That was pretty cool. Was running around along with my 5011 jobs. But anyway, temporary. I want to welcome you to Let's Talk About Africa. It is a series on, it is a series on knowing about Africa. And I have traveled to the continent. I have been a travel consultant also, but I'm an avid traveler. Uh, I'm an avid solo traveler. I'm an avid 50 plus traveler. And I used to work for um, a travel, a company that sells travel. And they were asking how to improve for their clients. And I said, hey, and I was recommended to be their um, destination specialist so we can give our clients more information on where they're traveling to. So when I approached them, they said, basically, after ignoring me a couple times, they said, that's nice, but our metrics show that no one travels to Africa. I said, okay, that's what we doing. Okay, if that's what you say. So I said, okay, no one travels to Africa, but every time I travel to Africa, oddly enough, crazy enough, I'm the only black person in tourist spaces. So, and it be packed. The plane be packed going over to Nairobi. The plane be packed. So I don't, but if that's their story and they sticking to it, okay. I know that black folks aren't chasing, doing gorilla tracking at 20 grand a person. But I digress. But anyway, just to keep it on a funny, because yesterday was pretty dark. We talked about Sudan, if anyone was on the live, and Sudan, to kind of recap, Sudan out of, I'm up to S's, now I'm up to T's, so we're almost at the end of the alphabet, right? Um, and probably have gone through about 40 something countries. Um, Sudan was the first country that I couldn't pull or find anything that could, put them in a positive light. And, because it's genocide going on right now, right under our nose, and the media is totally ignoring it. So it's hundreds of thousands, probably millions of people that are getting murdered and massacred every day. And no one's saying a word. Everyone's worried about, or want us to be worried about, Ukraine and Israel, and maybe Palestine, Gaza by default. But it's a whole genocide going on in Sudan. No one's talking about. So, or they're suppressing it heavily. So, anyway, so I'm keeping on a lighter note today. And the lighter note is that we are talking about Tanzania. And I love myself some Tanzania. I almost moved there, almost moved to Tanzania. Tanzania was on my list. A friend of mine, when I was researching African countries to possibly move to right after the pandemic, during the pandemic. And I had talked to a friend that actually left the States during the last um, administration. And I called him because I was looking at all these options. And then I said, you know what? He has traveled. I see him traveling to all these countries. And at that time, I didn't know one country from the next, to be quite honest. So I called him and asked him, and he told me, yo, you need to check out Tanzania and Zanzibar. It is lit. And I'm like, what's a Zanzibar in Tanzania? My ignorant self. So when I started researching East Africa and Tanzania, I ran into a lot of uh, people from the US, and this was in 2020, 2021, that had moved, just moved, or moved within the right after the administration, or when the new administration was coming in. So that was what, 2020. And I remember meeting this lady, and she is former military. I think she did 20 years. She served this country, and she said she was so fed up that, and at that time, it was Kamala was the vice, and it was, the hype and all that. But she was just so done with everything. And she said, if I stay here any longer, somebody's going to do something or say something, and I'm going to have to catch a case. It was hilarious how she said it. And she said, so I bought a one-way ticket. I think that time she said it was like 600 something dollars. She said she bought a one-way ticket to Tanzania and didn't look back, didn't care. Courtney, hello, welcome. She said she didn't care about any Converse, about any pearls. She didn't care. And the crazy thing is, she got on the plane on election day. She said she was done. She didn't care who won. She was out. And that was Terrell. Welcome. Welcome back. Look at you. You are being part of our Glow Tribe. So we're talking about Tanzania tonight. I love Tanzania. I have traveled to Tanzania. Tanzania is a cool place. I didn't stay as long as I wanted to because I was in Kenya, and I said, while I'm in Kenya, I'm going to jump over to Tanzania. And when I went to Tanzania, I really was thinking about Zanzibar. I wasn't thinking about no other place in Tanzania except Zanzibar because, as y'all know, I'm a beachy girl. So I wanted to be on those pretty white sand beaches, the clear water, the blue water, all of that, and just chill. So I was in Tanzania about 4 days or something like that. And Tanzania is so much more to see. So you should visit Tanzania at least 5 days, at least, because one thing is, and I just jumped from like what I was saying before, but the reason why I say you should visit Tanzania for at least 5 to 7 days, and the reason why I'm going back and forth like this, hey, YouTube, because I'm on Facebook and my phone is charging, so I have to hold my phone. Have to hold my phone. So in a few minutes, I'll put my phone up, and I won't have to go like this so much. But anyway, um, so Kaden, how are you? Welcome. So Tanzania, the reason why I say you should plan to stay in Tanzania like 5 to 7 days, because Tanzania is pretty big to like get to. So it's different than Nairobi, where you're going to be in Nairobi and then you take a plane and then you go to the coast. You can get to the coast, part of the same island in Tanzania, but it's an hour, like 45 minutes to an hour drive from the airport. And you think, oh, Tanzania, oh, Zanzibar, because they push um, they push Zanzibar so much, you think, okay, when you land in Zanzibar, you're going to be at the beach. No, when you land in Zanzibar, you are at the airport, but you have to drive an hour, 45 minutes if there's no traffic, to get to the beaches that you were planning on, that you came to Zanzibar to enjoy. So, on your way, I think I'm charged a little bit that I can hang out. Okay. So, on your way to Zanzibar, so you land in, when you go to Tanzania, you can land in three places. So, really, you need to be in Tanzania, real talk. You need to be in Tanzania probably 10 days, because Tanzania is broken up in three parts. So you can land in Zanzibar, like I said, right? Or you can land in Dar es Salaam. Okay, so Dar es Salaam is like the city. So like the Nairobi to the coast, or the, Atlanta to the Savannah, you know, it is Dar es Salaam is the capital, and then where all of like the business stuff happens. Um, um, Zanzibar is, just like chill, back, towny type of vibe. Dar es Salaam is more city vibe, but not as city as Nairobi City, but more commercialized. And Mount Kenya, okay, um, oh sorry, Mount Kilimanjaro, not Mount Kenya. Mount Kenya's in Kenya, but Kilimanjaro's kind of chilly in here. Sorry about that. Um, yeah, Mount Kilimanjaro is where Kilimanjaro is. Kilimanjaro, the tallest mountain in Africa. Beautiful. If you are a hiker, like if you are not just a hiker, no, you got to be like a serious hiker and have climbed some serious mountains and peaks. Kilimanjaro is probably the, I think it's, I want to put it up there with as difficult as who's it? Right, how are you? Welcome. Um, Kilimanjaro is up there with like Mount Everest, but Mount Everest up, it's cold, but so is Kilimanjaro because it's mountain and the peak and all that stuff. Um, so you have to be like almost a professional um, hiker to do Kilimanjaro. Um, and Kilimanjaro, I followed this man. He was from Atlanta, older guy, and he did Kilimanjaro. He did like a whole quest, but he had to prepare for months. And when he did get to Africa, he had to prepare with smaller things. And then when he finally started to climb Kilimanjaro, it wasn't like a day climb. It was days. And he had to hire a Maasai. He had to hire an escort because lion, tigers, and bears. Oh my! So you cannot hike that. Um, you cannot hike that mountain by yourself. You have to have an escort. So he did it, and he said it was extremely challenging, and you have to be fit for it. It's a whole big thing. It's not just like, oh, okay, I'm walking, I'm hiking, like you see Oprah and get. No, it's not. It's not that type of party. It's like on Olympic type non level. It's deep. It's very deep. So anyway, so you have those three things to see. So Tanzania, and you don't hear much about Tanzania. So Tanzania is one of those places, because we're going through the series now that you know, let's talk about Africa, and we're learning about different places that you may not hear of. And I really never, not that I didn't hear, I've heard of the name Tanzania before my friend told me, but I really didn't know of it. And it just sounded so like foreign to me. I just couldn't connect. So people are sleeping on Tanzania. And when we get into our next round and talk about um, places to live, Tanzania definitely will be on the list. I'm trying to get this together. Like I'm telling, I was rushing. Told you I was at like a business expo. I really literally just walked in the house. So I don't have my stuff together, and I don't want to be hanging all out. Okay. But anyway, so yeah. So uh, I was doing a lot of research to move to um, Dar es Salaam to Tanzania. And I was going to, back in 21, I visited my niece. She was supposed to get married to this Kenyan guy. So I was like, okay, well, while I'm over in Kenya, and Tanzania is literally next door. So I said, I'll fly over to Tanzania for a couple of days, check out Tanzania, try to make some connections with the people that I met um, on Instagram, and well, the I would first see them on YouTube, and then I would reach out to the people on Instagram, and I connected with about four people, three or four people, and I was telling you the young lady, uh, ex-military, retired military, 20 years, and she said she was so over this place, and that was in 2020, and she said she bought a one-way ticket, cost her $600, sold everything that she had, and got on. Like it was talking about an emotional knee jerk. I'm over it. I don't care. That's what she did. Okay. But I don't think she's bad. She just figured it out. But I think she was Marina, something like that. So she's able to adapt. But um, she said she got on a plane on election day of 2020, and she was out. She said she didn't care if Converse, Chucks, and Pearl. She said she didn't care anything about it. She said she was out like a scout. So she and I had stayed connected while I was over there. And like the little tip for y'all, especially if y'all are thinking about, moving over to the continent or anywhere, okay? And again, I always like to preface this because people like to freak out when I say move over there because they think that they moving over there, they're never coming back, they're giving up their passport, they'll never see the US or their family. Calm down. That's not how it works. You can come back and forth as much as you want, but more than going over there for more than a vacation. Like I spent 3 months over there as just a hiatus, sabbatical, get my head and my body right, just a whole kind of detox. I spent 3 months in Kenya. But yeah, so back in 2021, I went to Kenya, and then while I was in Kenya, I flew over to Zanzibar. I stayed in Zanzibar about 3 days, and I stayed on the coast, on the beach, and the beaches, as they say, drop dead beautiful. You know, the Maldives type of look, that everybody talks about, but I think it's prettier than the Maldives. Total white sand, clear water all the way into the ocean. I mean, so beautiful, so chill. I was able to find, I stayed in not a hotel, but it was a set of bungalows. So I wanted to be as close to the beach as possible without paying those resort prices. So I did trip up on a I don't want to say it's a boutique hotel either, because the units were like two together at a time, and they were kind of in a circle around. Really, really nice. Colette, what's up, honey? What? I've been waiting for you to come on, like real talk. I was like, okay, where Colette? She has not jumped on yet to see what I be talking about, but I know you handling your business, so thank you so much. So we're talking about Tanzania. So I stayed at these bungalows, really nice, like literally at the beach. But I'm cheap, so it was owned by the South African lady. She was like a white South African, and she was very nice. But it had everything there. And I don't get impressed with big resorts. Really and truly, I don't even want a resort, because resorts are just, it takes away from the authenticity of the reason why you're going to another country. Because if you're going to this whole 5-star resort, it's going to look like, Lisa, how are you, honey bun? Lakeview in the house, Long Island in the house. Thank y'all so much for stopping by. Oh, one thing that I ask, I don't want to say it's a rule, but just helping a sister out. Sharing is caring. Just hit the share button for me, please. Just hit the share button, because I know y'all don't want folks asking you all these questions about Africa. So just share so they can hear the video. They can get the playback, all that stuff. So anyway, so stayed at the place. It had everything. It was cute. It was quaint. It served its purpose. It was at the beach. My bungalow was the second unit in. So if I walked on my little porch that I had, I could look at the beach. Wonderful. And then, everything is just so kicked back. You get on a bike, you walk around, it's little village. It was a lot of walkable stuff. And, but the only thing about Tanzania, it's broken up. So, and then especially if you think you're going to Zanzibar, as soon as you get off the plane, that the beach is like 10, 15 minutes away, it's not. It is 1 hour away. In Zanzibar, it's not like you getting off in Dar es Salaam and going to Zanzibar. No, you get off at Zanzibar Airport. They got a brand new airport, fire. They had a little rinky dink, airport. No, they big time. So they're rolling. And addition to, for Miss Colette, okay, they do have a development called Fumba Town. Now that's 10 minutes away from the airport. So Fumba Town is a development that they have, of course, for expats, tourists, everything like that. And you can buy into it because it is a development. They have a payment plan. You put down, I think, like 15%, and then 10% every like 3 or 6 months, depending on how long your project could take. They have units from studio apartments that you can use as like what do they call it for the flight attendants, whatever they call for the flight, because it's only 10 minutes away from the airport. So you can rent a studio, 1 bedroom, for flight attendants, for people that's just coming in that, may have missed the flight, or, staying there and don't want to stay in near the beach because it's 45 minutes away or an hour away. So Fuba Town has the smaller units to homes overlooking the Indian Ocean. Drop dead gorgeous. And at that time, the houses were, well, what year was this? 21? 20, 21. And the houses were selling for 180, and they were 3 levels or 4 levels. They had their own pool. They had their own pool, like on the second floor. Some fly crazy stuff. Really, it was white, 4 stories overlooking. They were 180 in 2021, but they were all sold out. So I think the next phase we're hitting like 2. Frugal, exactly, frugal. Okay, bougie on a budget. So they're probably 300 now, but it's close to the airport. It's overlooking the water. But as far as the homes, yes, crash pads, and I think those were only like $30,000, like 27,000. A studio was like 27,000, brand new, brand new. And also, what they had, it was almost like an enclosed community. So it was a gated, guarded community, big, gigantic community, and it had its own shopping strip. So I was thinking, since I used to be in the beauty business, I used to do hair. I said, oh, and this was like really at the new phase. They hadn't put any businesses in yet. And I was getting a tour, and there was a unit right in the corner that you could see the ocean. And it was 2 stories, and it was a piece. And I said, oh, this would be so nice, not as a hair salon, but I wanted to do a spa that you can come and just chill. And when you are, getting your spa services, you can sit on the veranda and overlook the water while you're having your tea, and just a chill. I had it planned. I wanted a place and a business. Okay. The only thing I didn't have to make that happen was some money. I had no money. A whole lot of dreams, no money. Okay. So, I'm always manifesting, make something happen. It just didn't add up. Just didn't add up. But so I don't know what's going on with Fumba Town now. And another reason why I did not move on Fumba Town, I did ask my friend that told me about Tanzania. Um, he said, be extremely careful if you're not there with development projects. You really need to be there, hands on, seeing what's going on, because they can have all the best intentions in the world, but they are building those projects and trying to get people to buy in so they can finish the project. So it's not like they have the money fronted and you buy in. They're building as people are buying. So so I kind of really backed away after that. But it's a lot of opportunity there. And as a vacation spot, absolutely. And, as I said, just going back to how long you should be in Tanzania, it shouldn't be 3, 4 days. It should be 5, 7, 10. Because if you're going to be in Tanzania, unless you go back, you definitely want to do Zanzibar. And Zanzibar, you got to sit and lay on the beach and do nothing, or sit in the water and do nothing for like 3 days minimum. Okay, minimum. Then you got to shop, right? You got to get your little things. You got to see around the town. Then in Zanzibar, part of Zanzibar on the way to the beach, you're going to go through Stone Town. Now, Stone Town has a lot of history. Now, they make it seem like, ooh, Stone Town, and oh, ooh, ooh. But guess what? You know, I be doing my research, yo. Hey, Miss Yolanda, welcome. Oh my goodness. I got my people in here tonight. Do me a favor. Just hit that share button. Sharing is Karen. Sharing is Karen. All right. So they talk about Stone Town, like Stone Town is the bomb, and it has a lot of history. But guess what? You know, I be doing my research and finding out the deal. Whole lot of slave trade, but that's what it was back then. You know, we're clutching our pearls now, but slave trade was, you know, part of doing business, selling like you selling on McCary, okay, or Poshmark. They were selling people, and they were selling people. And the crazy thing is, you know, people talked about. We always mention, you know, we get on the Europeans about slave trade and all of that, but actually in Tanzania, the person that was trading slaves was black. His name was, let me get it. His name was Tuki Tippy Took. Y'all know I destroy every single time. I destroy the names every single time. But anyway, I'm going to try it again. Tippy Tookie Tip. I'll send y'all the video. Y'all can see it again, right? So he was a black slave trader, and there was a lot of money made from the slave trade, from trading gold, ivory. So they were killing massive elephants, and then slavery. So it was a lot of dirt, but they make, you know, Stone Town, and then it was a sultan. So Tanzania was Tanzania was did have a sultan that ruled the area. And in the early days, the name, little known fact, the name of Tanzania wasn't always Tanzania. They merged, and the original name was Tanganyika, and it's a little slither, and that was part of a regime. And then the larger part, Tanzania, that was actually, let me get this correct, from the 10th century, from 957 to 1500. The Persians were in Tanzania, right? And the Persians, and then they had the Persians, but also originally the Africans, the Swahilis. So the Swahilis originally came out of Tanzania. You would think, because Swahili is so known in Kenya, you would think that Kenyan people were the tribes that originated Swahili, or was the Swahili tribe, but it was actually Tanzania. Isn't that interesting? So, so the Persians and the sultans to the Swahilis, and then they were trading, and they would trade, big trade in gold, ivory, and slavery. Okay. And the male slaves were used for labor. The female slave was used for domestic and concubine. So that's what was going on in Sandtown. Just a little tea. But they make Sandtown, Stone Town, not Sandtown, Stone Town. Sandtown is in, my bad, is in South Africa. Stone Town, I apologize, Stone Town. So they make Stone Town seem like, you know, it is the place to be in all this history, but it has some kind of dark history for us, but it's history. You know, it is what it is. So a light at the end of the tunnel, and I was pleasant. I was surprised. I was shocked and surprised that the slavery actually stopped with the help of the British. Usually, they trying to take some slaves, but the British helped abolish slavery, and the Germans had came in around 1916, and they had issues basically fighting with the British on the area, and the Germans was taken down, and the British was there, but the British help abolish slavery, and then in 1961. Um, Tanzania worked on trying to get their own independence. So, all the African countries right around that time was getting their independence. Let me get some more background because I told you all like the what's going on now and all of that, and I get into some other stuff. So, Tanzania has about 68 million people. You have Dar es Salaam, I believe that's the capital. Then you have Zanzibar, that is like the townish, beautiful beaches. Then you have Mount Kilimanjaro, and you can fly into all three of those places. So, I mean, it is it's pretty diverse infrastructure. As I said, when I was there in 2021, they just built. They hadn't even opened it. They were doing the finishing touches on the Zanzibar airport, and it was beautiful. It was all glass. It was so pretty. Um, so they were getting ready, preparing themselves for, a lot of tourism, a blow up in tourism. Um, Also, Tanzania, with the help of the Chinese, with financing a lot of infrastructure, but they are moving forward with a lot of projects and all that good stuff. What else? They, along with that slave trade, what Zanzibar is known for is like spice trading, big into cloves. Okay, if you want, some bomb cloves, and cloves is very good for like your dental hygiene, all of that. Um, that's what Zanzibar is known for, other than the beautiful beaches. Uh, Also, great place. Again, that's why you should stay there as long as you can. You can get so much in. So you can do Mount Kilimanjaro if you want to hike. You can do the beach, and you can do safari there. Okay, so you have what is it? You have that says no. It's the Great Migration. Okay, and you can go on safari. And Great Migration is the Great Migration is September-ish, October. No, between August and October. So what happens is the wildebeest, like hundreds of thousands of them. If y'all seen it on YouTube or whatever, it's phenomenal to see, and they move like in a wave, and it's hundreds of thousands, and they go to mate, and they leave Kenya, and they go to mate in Tanzania. Then after they mate in Tanzania, make a whole bunch of babies, they come back. They come back in like 6 weeks and go back to Kenya and go back into their habitat. So you see that. I want to say what else? The food. Oh, the Serengeti. So you go on your safari with the Serengeti. So the Serengeti is, similar to the Masamara. So it's, the animals in their whole natural habitat. So beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. You can you can experience every single thing in Tanzania. Now, um, let me see. La 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 la. The food. Oh, this is another. If people around my age, I know y'all have heard of Idi Amin, so I don't know if y'all remember when Uganda had, kind of a bad reputation because of Idi Amin. And Uganda actually invaded Tanzania, and by the direction of Idi Amin. And I think I forgot what year that was, but put a one in the chat if y'all remember that. Put a one in the chat if y'all remember that Uganda, by the direction of Idi Amin, attacked Tanzania. Put a one in the chat if y'all remember that. Okay. Um, and also, what made matters kind of worse, okay? Gaddafi backed Idi Amin to do it. So Tanzania was minding their business because I'm telling you, Tanzanian people are just laid back, chill, don't bother anybody. But you know, they invaded them. I forgot what year. Does anybody know what year? Tell me, people. Tell me. Y'all be in here quiet. Y'all be in here quiet. Does anybody remember or tell me what year Uganda or Idi Amin had Uganda invade Tanzania? All right. What else? What else? What time is it? 45. 45. Um, fish, the food and the culture. This is a great place, especially. So we talked about Zanzibar. Zanzibar, wonderful party, very touristy and very European touristy. Just want to let y'all know that. When y'all go to Zanzibar, y'all gonna think y'all in Europe. Y'all gotta remind yourself you're in Africa. The Europeans love themselves some Zanzibar. So just want to let y'all know that. So, and that's what I learned when I was researching to move there. It was a couple of people from the States, younger people, that was excited, um, moved to Tanzania, moved to Zanzibar because it's the beach and the this and the that. And they said it was too touristy. It's a great place to visit, but not to live. So, we'll get more into that when we go back in and talk about um, Tanzania as, a place for our relocation. What else? Let's talk about the food. So, the traditional food, the food in East Africa, and I think I mentioned to y'all before, very basic, nothing like West Africa. I gotta say, West Africa got the bomb in food. It's hot, but it's full of flavor, everything like that. East Africa, people used to say on YouTube when I used to study YouTube, they were saying, make sure you bring all your spice. Make sure you bring all your seasonings and spices because the food is on the bland side. It's not bad, it's just on the bland side. And like the traditional food is Nyam chroma, and that's like a green whatsoever. And then, of course, the ugali. So the ugali, I never got into the ugali. And people from East Africa, from Kenya, Tanzania, I'm not sure if the Ethiopians eat ugali like that, but they eat ugali like people eat rice. I just couldn't get into it because basically It's a cornmeal, a white cornmeal that is almost baked like a cake. And they take a piece and, put it in this, whatever they eat in, to soak up the flavor, almost like when you have what is it? What's that thing? You don't you cook it, but that soaks up flavor. Uh, I forgot the name of the thing, but I just couldn't get into it. I could not get into ugali at all. I couldn't get into it at all. And I would eat chapati. Okay, that's like a little flat. Um, it's a little flat. They make it almost like a pancake, and then it's a bread, and they make it almost like a pancake, and it has a little bit of flavor to it. But the ugali has no flavor. It is literally white cornmeal baked like a cake. You cook your soup or whatever, and you just, you put it in and eat it almost like fufu. I didn't get it. I didn't get it. But it's up to y'all to try. Okay, up to y'all to try. And then fish is big because you're on the coast. So that's Zanzibar. So you want to go to Dar es Salaam. Dar es Salaam is, more of the city where you do business. There's a lot of USS expats um, in Dar es Salaam. It was this young guy. He had stopped for a while. I don't know why. I think he may have got burned. But this young guy, really, really knowledgeable, trying to do a lot in Tanzania. His name is Mark Meets Africa. So if Caden's still in the chat, Caden, check him out. The guy's really young. He went over to Tanzania when he was like 19. He left the country, he left the United States and moved to Tanzania, learned himself some Swahili, and lived on a grid. Like, I'm like, wow. So I think he's about 23. Yeah, because that's about 4 years ago. He's about 23 now. I think he's bought some properties or something. I know he disappeared for a minute. So I don't know what happened, but I saw him not too recently. I saw him recently, and I believe he's back. But Mark Meets Africa, he is good to follow. And then there's another young lady, but I think she stopped because she had some children and she really wanted to focus on. She had married. She went over there as a single parent, and that's what I run into a lot. That I've been seeing a lot of, especially the younger YouTubers. Like they will travel or they will move over to the continent, and then all of a sudden they're married and have kids. They go and meet Mr. Right. I don't know. So, and they're still together and have kids and everything like that. So, for those out there that's looking for a man, I guess, um, well, I love me some African men, as y'all probably know. Okay. But, yeah, it's a different, what I have run into just in dating. Foreign men compared to American men is totally different. And I just think it's because of the culture. Um, so great to date. I don't know about married. I don't know. It depends on the person. Um, I was married to someone from the continent, from West Africa, and we were great. We just were very immature. So, so but we still married 7 years. But we were very immature, but we're still friends to this day. Good friends, no drama. Both of our families, blend. One happy family. Real cool. So no regrets at all. Let me see what else I got for you. Okay, so to get there, and I always use JFK as a base, but you can always check to see where you are flying out of at this time. But this time is, of course, high peak time, holiday time, Christmas time. Flights are about $1,900 round trip. But in off peak, December is just an expensive season to go over to the continent. Um, you could probably get on off peak. You could probably get a flight probably 1,800, 900. Because if I can go to Kenya for lowest I've gone to Kenya was 760 round trip, and I've seen, and the most expensive I've paid for economy is about 900, and that's because I picked my seats and everything. But I think the base was like right under nine. So, but now at 1900, that's just because it's peak season. December's peak season. So, what I would advise y'all to do is get your tickets way in advance, way in advance, so you can get the least expensive um, prices. And another thing with Tanzania, okay, Tanzania during COVID, I went over there. Couple of things. Well, one, you could go to Tanzania and get a visa on arrival. You don't have to pre-apply anything like that. You get a visa on arrival. It costs $100 at the airport when you get there. Then, if you want them to move faster, because when you get off the plane and you're on a long line, it's gonna be people coming up to you and asking you, well, do you want VIP service? We can get you you can get through and get your visa and whatever, whatever. And they're not scammers. They take you off the line. It's only 10 US. It is worth it. And they take you into like a private area, like a private little room, and get your visa and everything. So you don't have to stand on a line and wait and all that. So it saves you about 30 minutes of standing on the line and being with the regular folks. Like, no, I'm only playing. But you want to have a VIP experience as much as you can while you're traveling, okay? So for $10, get your VIP experience, okay? So Tanzania is visa on arrival. So you don't have to do all this pre stuff. But what you do have to do going into Tanzania is you have to have your yellow fever shot. And what's so interesting about that is you have to have your yellow fever shot for Tanzania, but not Kenya, and they're right next door. It's weird, right? And I really think if you go like to the border of Kenya, you can walk right over to Tanzania. And I don't know if they require it. I don't know. I don't know if they just require it at the airport, but you need a yellow fever shot for Tanzania. But you do not need a yellow fever shot for Kenya. So that's the like pros and cons. So, but in Kenya, you can still get the same thing you're getting in Tanzania. You get the beach, you get the mountains. Okay, you get Mount Kenya. Um, you get the Masamara, that's equal to the Serengeti. So it's the same thing. It's just two different places, but you can get the same experience. So if you're not trying to do the shots, go on to Kenya. If you don't mind and you want to do Tanzania, you want to experience Zanzibar, you do have to get the yellow fever shot. And the yellow fever shot costs like 200 some dollars. And they're going to try to fearmonger you into getting every shot that they got in the book. Do not do it. It's not necessary. Do not do it. Do not do it unless you like 60 some years old and you may be prone. The only thing that I was going to consider to do, but I was still young. I was younger and I was like, well, I'll wait until after I'm 60 is the shingles, the shingle shot. But everything else, they trying to get you the hep shot and the this and the that. And no, I got um, my what's the name shot, my yellow fever shot that I had to get, that I didn't want to get. And I had to get my COVID shot because that was around the time and you couldn't travel without it. But the crazy thing was, And Africa's supposed to be so backwards, right? And so, just, oh, so unset. When I was getting my shots, the lady at the health department, oh, don't let the water touch your mouth. Oh, don't brush your teeth. Oh, you may catch this and you may, oh. But when I went through customs, I had my mask on, right? Why they tell me at the gate when I was coming in, oh, you don't need your mask because we don't have any COVID whatever. We had one. That's when the United States had like 100,000 cases. They had one case. They told me I did not need my COVID. I didn't need a mask because they only had one case of COVID in Tanzania. And in Kenya, it was like less than 1%. But in the United States and the UK, folks was dropping like flies. And I'm interested. But Africa's so backwards and so dirty and got all the cooties. Just saying, just saying. But anywho, it's 10 o'clock. I cannot believe I talk an hour. And now one of y'all be coming on and talking. Y'all got to come on and talk. Y'all got to come on and talk. So anybody have any questions? Everyone have any questions? I hope the live didn't stop. Anybody have any questions? My live stopped. Y'all, please put a 1 in the chat. So I haven't been talking to myself for the last 45 minutes. Put a 1 in the chat, please. If y'all are hearing me, not on YouTube, but on Facebook, because nothing's been moving. I've been asking y'all questions. Put a 1 in the chat if y'all are hearing me and my live has not stopped. But anywho, just for the folks that will be listening. Okay, good. No one else wants to follow directions, Kaden. But thank you, Kaden. But anywho, so I want to thank everyone for jumping on. And if you would like an itinerary, put a 2 in the chat or just DM me and tell me that you would like to get a 5-day itinerary of Zanzibar. And that will be, Zanzibar, Dar es Salaam, or Mount Kilimanjaro. And I'll send it to you. And complimentary for the first 24 hours. And then it's only $5.99. You can get that on glampluxetravels. Please check out glampluxetravels for your travel needs and your repatriation needs. And get your guide, your 2025 Ultimate Africa Travel Guide. Tells you everything about traveling the continent for 2025, and the relocation guide coming home, going home. And that is travel relocation guide for those that would like to leave the United States and move to Africa, all the different things that you need to know and be prepared for. So definitely leave a chat for me. Leave a DM for me if you would like those also. But I want to thank you so much again. I will see y'all. What is today? Today's Wednesday. I'll see y'all tomorrow. And what do we have? Tomorrow's Today was Tanzania. Is tomorrow Togo? I gotta look. But we're at the T's. we're heading in on the end. But I want to thank y'all so much, and y'all have a good night, and I'll see y'all tomorrow. Bye.